Welcome to Scribbled States. And I'm your host, Mr. Lou. Or you can call me the Ludist. How y'all doing? Alright, today we are doing something a little different today. We're going to do frame by frame. I'm going to teach you how you guys to make flying paper with balls just to use like a type of mass. You know what I mean? First off, to get this paper thing set up, I'm gonna make this a little less distracting. I have these two layers locked here. I'm gonna move this guy out of the way. For Toon Boom, you don't need the background or anything. You can just be a flat layer, right? And then you can work off the first pass. So I have just a drawing and then like two things there. But let's move this away, pretend we don't have them, right? We have these guys locked in place, so if I do any cutting or anything like that, I'm not gonna damage the piece. Right? So we ain't trying to damage that. We have a fluid motion going right here. So which means that we got to cut these frames into more frames. So I'm thinking when this comes in play right here, I'll have this be the first frame of attack. So we'll mark it. We'll mark it here. Here. Mark scenes, mark current frame. And we're going to have an end. So this is just going to drag off into the distance over here. So this is our starting point for our animation. All right. So with that being said, what I'm thinking of doing is we're going to have a point of motion. This is on the layout here, but I'm going to go back to this layout and I'm going to do it more precise. Let's turn this guy off. So our point of motion from this, let's make sure we have this whole, I'm going to use red. I got red over here. Yeah, red. Okay, so on this layout pass, let's open one of these. We have a character. Let's do it on the character layout. Let's go on an overlayer. I want a really thick pen because I want this to be viewable. So I'm going to bump this up. That's perfect. Okay, so we're going to go red. And how this is going to come in, I want this fluid motion here, spiral, and then out. So we're going to cut this into many different pieces. So what I'm thinking is we could start with our first frame here, entry frame, right? We'll have a frame as it comes underneath right here. And then we'll probably cut this into a frame here. Let's imagine me doing these frames down here. But we're going to do it all without easing first, just to make it a little bit more mess aroundable. So once we get the initial animation, we'll start splitting it up into more frames. And then our final frame here. But we could start probably at the beginning of the drawing, to be honest. So right at that entry point. So this is how we got it broken down. So to make it smooth, we have to add some easing frames in here. So as it's here, I want to add one here at the point of crossing, right? You can probably split this into here. Let me use a green for easing. Green for easing. Okay. So we'll probably add some easing here and here. Slow down here. So an easing here and here. And an ease in here and here. Usually 3 is a little better because it gives you a little bit more slowdown as the paper flies, right? And then adding these ease frames should help place our paper where it needs to be. So there's going to be 3 slowdown points where it has an animation as it's moving. But before we do that, we're going to create this the motion of the paper with mass. And when I say mass, we're going to use our old little balls for some friends. Okay, so let's go back to this first pass. We'll start here because we know that's where the paper is going to come in, right? About this place. We'll move it back one just to have funsies. We're going to use a ball, right? And the ball is going to have mass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this underlayer so that we can start messing with one edge of the paper. So when I do this, here maybe in blue, right? Let's go create a sheet here, right? I could probably use a fixed thickness. I'd like to use this just because I can blotch them. Solid brush. There we go. This is not locked on. I should be able to draw on this. What's going on? Why can I not draw on this? Thinking. Why would this be locked? Let's go back here. Make sure nothing's messed up. This guy. This guy is not going to get messed with. Make sure I got these right. Where is our message? Where is it telling us we can't do this? I'm going to kill the background for a moment since we're using our layout. Hit D to deactivate. Awesome. That's so strange. I wonder why it's not letting me draw. Animation, am I right? Alright. This is not going to be locked. Got this viewable. Nope, still not letting me draw. Let's see. Cancel. We have our onion skins. Onion skins are going to be very, very important on this, by the way. This is so weird. Here, let's create a new first pass. Let's delete this. Yes, delete the elements. Control R, a drawing. We're going to add a first pass. Add and close. It will be a vector layer. First pass will be here. We'll go here, add our thing. Awesome, and now we can draw. I guess it was just acting up. It just froze out for some reason. But we're gonna use two people. We're gonna use 2 pieces of balls, so to say, to add these papers, right? So first pass, we have it up here. We know we like it. We know we could see it, and we're gonna start with 1 and 2 balls, right? The bigger ball is going to be closest to us, so we're going to draw a ball closest to us. I gotta change this to just average, right? Perfect. We got 1 ball, and we have 2 balls. It's going to be slightly smaller, right? So with this, we're going to add motion to our layers as we go. And like I said, we're just going frame by frame first, and then we'll start messing with them. Turn your onion skins on, sorry, not off, because we want to see the motion of this ball, correct? So we have that first motion here. There's going to be an ease frame, so let's zoom in. These are our frames, you see that? Next frame's technically going to be here. There's going to be a nice slight ease, but we want to give it the look of the motion for that ball. You see that? And then we're just going to keep doing the same with the next, but we want to add more motion while keeping the amount of mass that ball should have. See? So now we got a nice little motion there. This one's a little funky, so I'm going to fix this one. Let's go ahead and just select and delete. All right, so I want the motion of this ball to be stretching from its origin point out to the second piece, right? Well, this is going to be very important too, because we're going to kind of keep the same constant around everything else. And then immediately we're going to jump to these. And if we need in-betweens, we'll just start adding in-betweens if needed. But this theoretically should be enough. So as this ball comes here, the mass is going to stay large, right? It's going to start to shrink on the next one because it's slowing down, right? So this main frame is going to be the ball catching up to itself, right? And then from there, it's going to take off again. So we want the mass to take off from its original origin point, while still keeping the mass. Obviously, I haven't done mass in a while, but practice makes perfect. So even if you mess up a little bit, you can go back and change your mass as needed, right? So we're going to have a few of them over here as it jumps this way, okay? We're going to have one here, up here. So it's going to slow down and rotate. We're going to think about it like this. These are going to be the slow down points. So it's going to be zoom, zoom, zoom. And theoretically, we would draw this whole thing. We're going to draw a piece right here, right? So let's just go ahead and draw a ball getting ready to float into this circular motion. So I like to get the curve started. The mass, right? This one's a little big, sorry. Let's try that again. Let's keep going till we got it. So it's getting ready to ease into this. So we're going to go give it some room, right? Go to our next frame. I'm going to give it an oval shape so it looks like it's going in a circle, right? And then from here, we're going to take off again. Right? New frame, sorry. There we go. From here. It's going to rotate again. And then I'll slow down here again, right? So I'm going to go ahead and draw another one there. Like I said, as we do these, we're going to start giving this thing mass. And we're going to start slowing it down as our ease comes into play here. So from here, we start to see our animation come to life. We got another one right here. Check this out. Creating velocity as it starts to bend itself again, right? And this one, since it's at a little curve, I'm going to give it some movement. Give it some curve as it solidifies, right? I'm going to add more curve to it, just like that. And as we keep going, like I said, we're going to add more and more to it to give it a fluid motion. And then eventually, we're going to give these things a little bit of lineage. So see, as I'm drawing off the camera, this is our camera right here. I'm drawing off of it because I want it to be more fluid as it goes, right? And then we have our ball returning here. So now when we play that, our ball should fly throughout our canvas. So if we glide over it, let me turn the onion frames off. Check it out. See that? Obviously a little fast, a little jittery, but almost about the same. It's almost the same as we would like it to be. I don't know if that makes sense. It's about where it should be to the point of messing around with it. So with our, I would say with a different color, we could probably get away with pink. No, that might be too much. Let's use yellow, maybe. We will have our secondary ball take motion with this. So as this side of the paper leaves, we turn our onion skins on, right? We want this paper to kind of slowly but surely. Oh, that's horrible because my onion skins are going forward that way. Let's put this just so that we're animating in a forward motion. We won't see the back end, so to say. All right, so we'll go ahead at our second ball. Like I said, we want to keep the mess. As we move forward, we're going to kind of give this a little bit of slack because I want it to look like a piece of paper. So this is going to be one end of the paper, this is going to be the next, right? So as it flies in, it's going to come down this way. As it's down here, I'd like it to rotate that way, so to say. Like I would like it to rotate at this axis. That makes sense, right? So I'm going to kind of draw it as if this paper falls a little bit right there. It's going to get a little bigger because it's moving around. This is going to be our swivel point here, right? And we move forward. It'll come up and crinkle. And then work its way up this way. So from our piece here, it's meeting with our guy again. You see that? And then from here, I'd like it to almost be on its side, right? So we'll get some fluid motion in here with the paper. It's going to be here first, right? Its size is going to open up a little bit and fluff up. So theoretically, it would get wider, right? To give it some dimension, let's fall back down. Add another one here as it's falling behind, right? Now we can glide it this way like it's slacking. And just keep moving it along, right? And it's just pretty much the same principle. As you see, I have a double here, which probably makes it move too fast. So what I'm going to do, I grab all this, open this up. I'm going to duplicate this. I think it's Control-Shift-D. Yeah, Control-Shift-D. I'm going to delete the one that has the duplicate. Let's grab this guy here. Control-Shift-D. Now this guy, I'm going to delete these two guys here. Boom. That should help us smoothen out our animation now. So comes here. And then we skipped. So see, we should have one right here. Maybe we lost it. Maybe I accidentally deleted it. Yeah, it's there still. It just accidentally got deleted. We just have to delete this guy off of that one. So now, this one should be the one up this way. See that? And then see how it jumps over? We're going to do the same thing. So we'll get this guy here with our yellow. Add some presents. So this paper is going to fly back a little bit this way. I want more of a teardrop shape. Right? I want it to fly up and open. Right? So as it gets to this next one, I want it to fly and slightly open up. So it kind of evens the paper out. And then from here, it could have a little bit of lag as we move forward. Have it lag behind a little bit, right? And then eventually come to a stop. I'll put this one behind a little bit more. And then our ball meets with our other piece, right? So now when we go through this, it should have a steady flow. Obviously, it's too fast. So one thing we can do is put this on 2s to see if that helps any. So shift, contract all these. You're going to go to exposure, and you can set everything to 2. And then we could see how that plays out. Right? That's still a little too fast. So we may need to add some frames in here. Let's do these by 3. And then actually, let's move this up to our original origin point of animation, which we agreed on, right? So we're going to go from here and animate this way. So what we could do is we could do 2 things. We'd add some of these exposures, like our main keys, we could set to 3 to see if that helps. So exposure, set to 3. That sets everything to 3. We just want this one to set to 3. Increase exposure. I guess you could just press 1. So ease frame, ease frame, ease frame, main frame. Add a plus there. Boom. Ease frame, base frame. We could make this a 3 frame. Increase exposure. Ease frame, main frame, ease frame, main frame, ease frame, main frame, ease frame, main frame. And you see how I'm like every so often where I have my red dash? That's where we're increasing the exposure, because that's where we want the paper to be held at its finest, so to say. So now if I play this regularly, let's see if I can play this. It's a little slow, and I think it's because we're at 12s, right? But we could add frames in there to smoothen it out. So what we would just do is add more smooth frames. But that being said, let's try to change these single 12 frames to 1 frames and see if that does anything, right? It might help it a little bit, but I'm not too sure how much it will. We'll set these to 1. To be honest, this may just clean it up a little bit. So we have another one here. Everywhere we have 2, we're just setting to 1. I wish you could just auto set it to 1. You could just add more exposure as needed. We could have just used this, which is... I'll figure it out right now. One momento. So this would be... No, there's no shortcut. I'd have to fix the shortcuts again. That's what I get for updating. Sometimes you update, you forget to back up your settings, and then game over, boom. Back to doing everything manually. Decreases the amount of time it takes you to do animation, but it's fine. We're all here to have fun. We're not here to overwork ourselves or try to work till burnout. So just enjoy yourself. Boom. So this should play a little smoother. So let's check it out. So it holds a little too much on these 3s. So I think we could only get away with a single exposure. So let's get rid of this exposure. You could do this on like any program though, the way I'm doing this right now. All you have to do is just make sure to decrease the amount of time your drawing is on the animation cell, and it will speeden it up. Or if you need it to smoothen out, you just add more ease frames. So now this should play a little smoother. Check it out. It's a little choppy still, but we're getting closer. Do that one more time. So we could probably add one more. I'm gonna use, let's use another red. So we could have like a in between or a yellow even. So we'll add another exposure frame on these frames. Let me go ahead and unlock this. That could be locked. So I believe we are drawn on, not this, it might be this big. Okay, so what we can do, add one more ease frame on these, and like I said with our little ball, we're just going to make this more and more smooth by adding more and more frames. And then when we're done with our ball, we will use, check this out. Lock this up again. Sure it doesn't move. Okay, and when we're done with our ball, eventually we're going to get to the point where we use our line art section here, right? And we're going to create our paper. I'm going to make a little rip on it like that. Not those little balls, what we're going to do is as we go, right? We're just going to add the paper with some ferrule movements. So some simple movements to kind of brush it apart, right? And eventually we'll have just a piece of paper moving around here. See how we have that? We want to make sure that our fluid motion is out this way. So to capture that fluid motion more, I'm going to show you something. Oops. Oh, looks like we're actually out of time. So, that being said, thank you for stopping by. Eventually, we will have more animation sessions like this. But for now, thank you for watching. This was a simple ball animation, and eventually it will turn into a frame-by-frame, beautiful work of art. Thank you for watching Scribbled States. Hope to see you guys next time. So, see you then, my fellow.